Folks, I have some very good news regarding my future here in Malaysia. So let's start with the first one. I spoke directly with the tourism ministry of Malaysia, and they said they love the content that I'm doing here, so they want to work with me directly, which is good. I was a bit concerned given some of the content that I'm doing here, asking people if they experience racism in the country, street interviews like that, just uncertain how they would feel about it. And they said they love it. They more than welcome that kind of content and getting the feedback to, make changes where necessary, or, whether positive or negative comments I get from people that I interview, it's welcome. And so it's refreshing to hear that for me, and it's nice that I will be working with them in the future. So that's cool. The second major thing is regarding my visa situation, regarding me staying long-term in the country. They've alleviated all concerns for me about my ability to stay here long-term. So I'm no longer worried about my visa situation. I'm no longer worried about getting denied entry into the country. For a long time now, I've been uncertain about my future here, and I've been hesitant to rent a long-term condo because I don't want to risk having to leave or something like that. I can't go into any more details other than they've alleviated my concerns, and I'm not any longer worried about my future staying here long term. So that's good for me, good for you guys as well, good for the content, good for the channel. And so where is the channel going? What is the future of the channel? Well, as you know, I've been doing street interviews lately. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make 2 more channels in addition to this one. And so this channel will stay focused on solely doing street interviews here in Malaysia, also in Singapore, Brunei. I will keep that stuff on this channel. And I will make 2 more channels. One is going to be a personal channel, behind the scenes, anything non-interview, videos like this, where I'm giving you updates. I'm kind of, giving you my perspective on the journey so you can follow along in that regard. Because I know a lot of you are missing some of these types of vlogs, and it's kind of what I started with and built my core audience around. And then now the channel is taking off with these street interviews. And so I sort of have no choice but to put a lot of my time into that and focus on that, because before what I was doing was not that sustainable, and I was getting concerned about my income, just where I would be financially in the future and if it would be sustainable, right? And the street interviews are allowing me to increase my views, which directly increases the revenue. Getting views is important. It means people are watching. It means YouTube is recommending the videos to people. It's pushing the video out to more people because people are clicking on the video and they're watching for longer. They're finding it more engaging. And after vlogging so much, it's nice to change it up. It's nice for me to do something different. It feels good for me. I have more motivation again. And I think the best way forward is to make additional channels to separate the types of content. So the second channel will be a personal channel, behind the scenes and vlogs, right? And then the third channel is going to be street interviews in other countries. I do love to travel. And even though I'll be spending 90% of my time here in Malaysia, I will be traveling a bit. And it'll be cool to make some videos when I travel and to try out street interviews in other places too. That's very interesting to me. And so places like Japan, Korea, China, potentially, we'll see. When it comes to the English speaking, it may be a barrier, but I think I will still be able to interview foreigners, especially. Thailand, Vietnam, places like that, I would like to do street interviews. So the third channel is going to be a Fisherman Worldwide type channel. It's going to be interviews in other countries. So I think that's the best way forward, to separate the content. I think it only makes sense to upload videos on this channel that my audience wants to see. Instead of flying to Thailand, flying to Vietnam, and trying to make videos that don't get many views because YouTube just doesn't want to push it to people. And most of you guys aren't that interested, although some of you are. When YouTube sees that a big portion of my subscribers aren't that into the content, it stops pushing it out. So a way to fix this would be to make new channels and start fresh. So YouTube's algorithm, starts fresh, pushing it out to all sorts of countries, different people. Start building a different community, start reaching a more international audience as well. But I will be putting most of my focus into my videos here because I will be living here and I will be spending majority of my time here. The bulk of the videos will be on this channel, some on the personal, and then here and there, and especially as more of an experiment and testing, I will be doing the international interview style videos. So that's the plan for now, because yeah, the interviews are just doing well and I'm enjoying making them, and they're only going to get better. The reality is a lot of the more simple topics here are what perform well. Simply asking foreigners about their experience, getting their positive and negative experiences here. I'm not gonna only do those videos, but when they get 250,000 views or something, it's like, okay, well I've never gotten anywhere near that amount of views, so I need to keep that in mind. And so here and there I will make that a series, right? And then I will be doing other videos too, which are a little bit more harder questions to ask people, some tougher topics. That's also why I avoid some topics I want to do, is because it's a lot harder to ask people certain questions than it is to simply ask them about their experience here, which they're very comfortable to talk about. If you do like what I'm doing and you want to support me, you want to support the channel, I will leave some links in the description below. You can send me a little donation, Touch and Go, or Wise, or PayPal, something like that. It's always appreciated. I don't expect it from anybody, but if you have the means to do so, yeah, go for it. Thank you guys. And I'd like to interview more locals. Also a tough one to get Malaysians to do the interviews, right? I've mentioned that in my community tab. I mentioned that in the past videos. And that's why I'm doing more interviews with foreigners than locals. But I will mix it up, and the interviews with the foreigners perform far better. Thus far, any interviews that I did, asking locals, they don't perform nearly as well. Now, that's not to say that I won't make some that may perform well, and it may just been those interviews, maybe the videos just weren't as good, right? Sometimes it's luck of the draw. It's like you'll interview somebody and they say some really good things for the content, or they have a really well-spoken interview, and it's, that video is going to do better, right? And so, yeah, a lot of it comes out to me getting out there every single day and doing interviews, and so I have enough to put together a really good video. And I don't hand select like certain things to put in a video, and I don't really like to censor things. I don't want to only keep in the good things, or I had some people say like, oh, I noticed you cut the interview short when they started saying they like Singapore or something like this. Or I actually had somebody say on my video where I asked Malaysians what they think of the United States, I literally had a comment that said, wow, this guy interviewed thousands of people and only put in the interviews, the 7 interviews where people said positive things. So this person genuinely thought that I had interviewed thousands of people in a single day, because you can see in the video, it's all filmed in one day, same outfit. You could see as the sun is going down, or you can tell it's the same day. And so he thought somehow in a couple of hours that I had interviewed thousands of people and that I only put in the positive things about America, as if I care if people have good things to say about America. I don't care. It's actually better for the video if people have some negative things to say. Those videos perform better. And so I was a little bit upset that everyone was just saying good things about it, when I knew maybe they have some other things that they're holding back, But yeah, stuff like that is kind of funny. I don't take it too seriously, but it shows that some people are a little bit out of touch with reality. And, I get that you don't really see my full process, but I've actually started to think about live streaming, and maybe live streaming, like, behind the scenes, how how everything is made, go out there, do some interviews, but live stream the whole thing. So you can actually watch me approach people. You can watch people say no to me. Yeah, just watch the whole process. If I can sort out actually doing it, manage the whole thing while I'm live streaming and actually also film, this is why I'd very much like to hire somebody in the future. It is getting to the point where I could really use some additional help. As much as I like being in full control, and I do edit these videos quite well, in my opinion. I think I edit the interview videos well. It takes a lot of time. Adding the subtitles, making them right, takes a lot of time. And so, yeah, I would be able to pump out more videos and better videos if I had a small team. But for now, YouTube does not pay enough, unfortunately, for Malaysian viewers. It's really unfortunate because, I'm now getting well over 1 million views in the past month, which is quite good. And, some people are earning off of 1 million views. There are people out there I know personally that make 7, 8, 9, 10,000 US dollars because their audience is based in the US, Australia, UK. And because my audience is Malaysian, YouTube pays me significantly less. Barely able to make $1,000, which is crazy. Which is crazy for that kind of viewership. It's unfortunate. But I do have sponsorships. I've had a few sponsorships in the past, but nothing consistent, and my views just weren't that high. And so like the amounts weren't that high. But now with the kind of views I'm getting, my average views per video in the last 10 videos is, close to like 80,000. So that's, better than my old average of like 8,000. So I think opportunity is opening up, working with the tourism board, and yeah, I think there's a lot of opportunity, and I think things will become more sustainable. It's just tough to pay my way in Kuala Lumpur, to stay in a good neighborhood and a good condo where I have a decent lifestyle and I can have good access to easily get around the city, get everything I need, get to different locations to make interviews. A lot of you recommend I stay in neighborhoods well outside of the center and just commute there. Sure, it's easy if you're not doing YouTube. It's a little different, but I'm really moving around the city regularly on a daily basis. And so, yeah, being close to the center, being in KLCC or Bukit Bintang, or even where I live right now is actually right here. It's just like down the street, Ampang Hilir, which is a great neighborhood, but it's not cheap either. And it is quite accessible by bus and by train to get to KLCC. And so I'll typically go there, and I'll walk maybe to Bukit Bintang, getting to Chinatown a little bit further. These are areas to interview tourists and foreigners that work quite well. In the future, I will go to some more areas. I will go interview some long-term expats and foreigners. Now that I'm building a network of friends and people that I know personally, I'm going to start interviewing some of those people because they're long-term expats, and going to areas like Mount Kiara and interviewing people there. It's just not that accessible. It's just not that easy to get to, and it's a little inconvenient. For the most part, that's why I go to the locations I go to, out of convenience, getting the content I need in a timely fashion, and having an abundance of people walking around that I can approach to ask for an interview. I don't like doing it in Bukit Bintang, actually. I've started to not even like Bukit Bintang as much because it just gets so busy. So I avoid it on the weekends now. I go film somewhere else on the weekends, or else I'm just stressed trying to walk around there and, trying to stop people when there's thousands of people walking around. It's actually more difficult. Yeah, people constantly selling stuff on the streets. It's not the environment that I even like to work in. So yeah, avoiding that is better. Recently I did interviews in Merdeka Square and more around Chinatown, and even that was just refreshing because it was just such a more slow pace. People were more relaxed, and people felt more approachable. People don't feel approachable in Bukit Bintang. It's more like I'm like hustling out there, I feel like these other hustlers out there. I don't know, I don't like that feeling as much. So as many interviews as I can set up, pre-planned interviews, I think would be ideal, as much as that's also a lot to manage. And also doing it in more chill areas, I think, yeah, is suitable. It's better. But yeah, this is just an update video. I haven't done a vlog. I haven't done a video like this in a while. And so people are constantly commenting like, where are the vlogs? My new followers from my interview videos don't really know much about me anymore. And, my old core audience really knew my life, knows me well, and feels quite close to me. And I want to have a close connection with my audience. And so, yeah, just doing the street interviews, I stay very neutral. And so I don't give too much input. I don't talk about my life. And so those new followers, they don't know any details about me. So I think having the personal channel will, yeah, allow me to connect with those people and give them a little bit of behind the scenes that people who have been following me for a long time have gotten in the past. I've been kind of figuring out what's the best way forward, and I think this will work well. So I actually want to mention something that happened in my last interview. There was a young gentleman who goes to University of Malaya. There was a lot of drama in the comments about things he said. He was just voicing his opinion. He was just giving some honest thoughts about his experience, you know? And I like to welcome that. Like I said, I don't like censorship, but there was an issue, you know? Many people from his uni were messaging him about the video, and apparently even the dean contacted him about it. And so he reached out to me and asked me to remove some parts of the video, some things that he said, because he doesn't want to face repercussions. And I surely don't want him to face repercussions at his school simply for voicing his opinion. You know, when he pays for the school, there should be some level of free speech regarding that. Sure, maybe he could have used different words, and maybe he didn't come off in the best way with the way he said things, but it's not an excuse for people to be hateful in the comments. There were so many racist comments, just like kind of coming at him for his country and stuff like that, just because they felt attacked because he said things about the university he goes to. It's like, okay, I understand where people are coming from. Sure, like I said, he could use different language. I removed it. I removed any of the touchy stuff in the video just because I don't want anything to happen. But I don't like that. I don't really like the way that people handle things. You know, people in the comments saying they forwarded the video to, superiors at the school. You know, he's all sorts of things, trying to get him in trouble essentially, which is it's just not cool. It's like, come on, you know, somebody comes over. He even said how much he loves Malaysia, and just because he made one small comment with language people didn't like, you know, they're going as far as being extremely racist and negative and saying they're going to get him in trouble. It's like, that is not cool, folks. Come on. That is somebody's education, and it's just not cool. But it made me realize as well, you know, now that the platform I have here is growing, the viewership is growing, I need to be cautious in some regard here. You know, of course, some people are hesitant to say things on film because they don't want it to be a permanent thing online, them saying something, right? And I get that. Culturally, things are different here. You know, a lot of the interview type videos that I will end up making in other countries like Japan and Thailand are topics that I can't touch here. Yeah, it's just a different culture, and there are laws in place, things like that. And so the way that I grew up is different, but I respect the culture, I respect the country that I'm living in. And so I avoid certain topics, right? But yeah, having somebody voice their opinion, it's important. It's important. And like I said, even the Ministry of Tourism directly said to me, like, of course this type of feedback is welcome. You know, if somebody says a university needs renovations, like, that's just the way they think. It's like, okay. It's like, maybe the school can either take that into consideration or they cannot. They could disregard it, but it shouldn't be any type of grounds for problems. And the whole situation bothered me a bit. Yeah, it just made me think like, okay, I can't put anybody at risk or in a bad position in their school, in their job, in their life in general, right? And so I do need to be cautious. As much as I want to get the true opinions and I want people to be very honest, I think that's a big part of the channel. It's just the way I am, and it's how I want my content to be. But I need to maneuver it carefully. Some people are very petty. You know, if they feel attacked, they will immediately start to be racist and they will attack somebody back. What people don't realize is it just makes you look 10 times worse than what you're trying to defend in the first place. And so, yeah, just try to give people the benefit of the doubt. He was also just having a conversation where he trusted me and he felt comfortable with me, and so he was speaking openly. You know, I make people feel comfortable to open up and to talk about things, and I don't want that to ever be used against somebody. So just try and remember that when you're watching my interview videos and, you know, you hear something that triggers you. Don't take it too seriously, right? It's not that serious. It's not always that serious. and just let people voice their opinions. Like I said, I stay neutral, but when somebody's hateful toward people in my video, or yeah, somebody I'm becoming friendly with and I thought was a really cool, a nice kid, I just felt like I don't know, it bothered me. So anyways, that's that. I felt like I wanted to talk about it a little bit, but I removed portions of the conversation with him in my last video, you know, getting the honest opinions from foreign tourists. I removed some of the conversation. But in general, I won't censor my videos, you know, but if something comes up, somebody reaches out to me directly to remove something, you know, regardless if it's going to impact my video. Yeah, the video was performing really well, right? It was my best performing video in the first 24 hours, 50,000 views, tons of comments. But I think somebody's education and you know, not messing with somebody's life is more important than any views or financial gain that would come from that. So yeah, that's that. But thanks for watching, folks. Make sure you press that subscribe button, press the like button, and leave a comment below. I always love to hear your opinions. Yeah, take care, everyone.
Next, make sure to watch the slightly controversial video where foreigners give their honest opinions on Malaysia. You can watch that right here.